What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your boys at Premium Picks. Tonight, we're going to break down UFC Fight Night, Corey Sandhagen versus Rob Font. Before we do, just quickly, I apologize. We're a day late. I was away at a cottage, no reception. Very tough to even watch UFC 291. Speaking of 291, picks went 8 for 11. It was a good night, fun fights. But let's get right into this card. Please like and subscribe, and let's go. First fight of the night, we got Osbourne versus Azu Almabaev making his debut. Azu is known as a big grappler. So this is a classic striker versus grappler. The type of fight that Osbourne has struggled in the past. But you know what? He looked really good last fight against Charles Johnson. He stuffed the takedowns. He got the better of the striking. So I actually think this fight's pretty close. I almost feel tempted to stab Osbourne, to be honest. I don't like betting this Azu on his UFC debut. He has to prove to me that he's going to be able to grapple at this level. But the fight's just a pass for me. Everybody's saying Azu's going to submit him. I don't know. I think Osbourne's live here. What do you think?
I think he's live because he was the one that took down Charles Johnson in the last fight. Before that, it was mostly strikers though. Nam, Adeshayev, Vergara didn't get him down. He got down Vergara. Manal Kopp didn't take him down, but he lost to a flying knee, which in hindsight, I looked that fight over. I don't know if he was completely out. Not that that fight was going to go any differently than it was before. You know what I mean? But like, I wouldn't say he was completely out. He has what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights in the UFC. He usually alternates wins and losses. So this guy is almabaev, is brand new, so you don't even know he's a grappler by trade. I've seen him in the tape, but like you said, he's gotten a lot better at his defensive grappling, and this takedown defense isn't half bad. It's 72%. So like, if this guy's Khabib level, maybe not Khabib level. Let's be Dagestani like level. There's a possibility he might take him down, but it's not like Ode sucks on the ground. It's not like Ode's takedown defense absolutely stinks. So to have this debutante at minus 170, I don't know. It's tough. I'm passing, but if I wouldn't stop to stab the dog, that's what I would. If I was going to play the fight, I'd stab the dog. But I do actually think this is no finish in this fight, and that it's going to go a little bit longer than 2.5, at least over the 1.5 mark for sure.
All right, moving on. We got a really fun fight. We got Jake Hadley versus Cody Durden. I'm surprised that Hadley's a sizable favorite here. Hear me out. Hadley is the much more dangerous fighter. He's going to have the better hands, and he's the more likely to snatch a submission. But he's got one very clear deficiency, and that's takedown defense. And Cody Durden is going to shoot. So I think you're looking at a Hadley choke or a Durden decision here. Durden obviously coming off that win over Charles Johnson, but he gassed. So I don't think he's going to want to gas against Jake Hadley. Hadley's a lot more dangerous than Charles Johnson. So even though my head is saying Durden can decision him, can lay on him for 3 rounds, I think Durden's going to win that first round. You might get really good odds on Hadley live betting, and I'm picking Hadley to be the more dangerous guy and catch a choke or something later in the fight. I still think Hadley's the better fighter, the more dangerous fighter, and I think he's going to get him at some point. So give me Hadley by a late finish. What do you think?
Yeah, 37% is not very good at takedown defense in the UFC. And that's my boy Jake Hadley. And you know me, I actually like Jake Hadley. I've had a sizable bet on Jake Hadley in the last fight to finish. I was clenching my butt cheeks while that bet was going on. He finished him pretty quickly, so, it wasn't too bad. But anytime you put a sizable amount of money on someone, you kind of want to see it go quickly. But there's a clear deficiency, like you said. And I think Cody Durden does gas, but he still can gas wrestle, if you know what I mean. And Hadley's hands, I don't know if they're that good. Now, the problem is, can he get up when he's taken down? Because if he can scramble up, then yeah, he'll gas him. But Alan Nascimento unanimous decisioned him with just the 3 takedowns. So like he's known to get on the ground and not have an answer. If he doesn't have an answer, because Cody does have good top pressure, you got to give him that credit. It's the gas tank that makes it shady. I gotta go grappler over my boy here, and I didn't do it with Charles a couple times where I knew he was gonna lose. And yeah, I mean grappler over striker here. Minus
Yeah, I mean,
188. I don't know. I saw Durden took him. What's not Malcolm Gordon. He finished him. Who was it? Jesus. Cody Durden took the. Was it last time?
Charles Johnson.
Charles Johnson, and he just rode him out, and he was tired. He was super tired in the third round, but he still kept going with the takedown. And it's not like Jake Hadley is any cardio machine himself. I've seen him fight, and even when he was up against Nascimento, he got tired from getting ragdolled. Cody's strong. And you know what the thing is? I think he might bank the first 2 rounds and just skate in the third. Just make sure he doesn't get choked out.
I mean, all the values on Cody for sure. And I mean, if you add like Cody over 1.5 or something, you're going to get over 200 plus 200. But yeah,
that's actually not a bad idea instead of going the whole distance. He has won his last 2 by distance. Interesting.
Moving on, we got Billy Quarantillo versus Damon Jackson. This fight's really tricky for me as well because I like, if you guys have watched previous videos, I don't think Billy Quarantillo is all that great. Now, Damon Jackson also is a little bit inconsistent, to say the least. This is a tricky one. I mean, Damon Jackson can be knocked out, but Billy's not some huge puncher, so I think I might favor Damon's grappling, to be honest. This is a fight I think I like the over. I don't actually like either of them. I dislike both of them, actually. So I don't think I would trust either with my money, but I think it's a winnable fight for Damon. I guess it's winnable for either. What do you think?
So what does Billy Q do well? He just comes forward with that pressure, kind of pitter-patters the punches, tries to take you down. I don't think he's going to take down Damon Jackson. At least I won't think he would try to take down Damon Jackson because I think he's out muscled on the ground there. And Damon Jackson, what did he do? He lost to Danny gained a KO last time out, right? But before that, he was a KO of Pat Sabatini. And we figured out Pat Sabatini is actually pretty good on the ground. And he's not that bad of a fighter, right? So
he beat Song Yadong too.
He beat Song Yadong. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, he beat that. Yeah. So that's crazy, right? Oh, it's his last fucking couple losses. He beat Mursak Bektik. He rolled over those guys, Kirk, Rosa, Argueta. Even Argueta's pretty good though, I think, as well, right? Good. So Argueta's pretty good. Sabatini's pretty good. Ige's pretty good. And that's what Damon Jackson's been fighting. Billy Q just lost to Edson Barbosa, who's pretty good. Beat Alexander Hernandez, but he has a better gas tank. Lost to Shane Burgos. Not a good look. Beat Gabriel Benitez because he has a better gas tank. Lost to Gavin Tucker. Looks really bad now. And then he beat a couple other guys. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think the pressure will phase Damon Jackson too much because I think he's the same sort of pressure type fighter. So that'll go right into his wheelhouse, right? So, yeah, I favor Jackson in this. For me, it's dog or pass. I don't see why he's such a sizable underdog. Minus 188, it's hard to lay on Billy Q. In this fight, especially when he doesn't have the cardio.
For the record, I fucked that up. He didn't fight Song Yadong.
No. I was like,
my bad.
I was just in the middle of my rant. I don't like stopping. Brain only moves in one way.
Either way, I wouldn't feel confident trusting either of those guys, to be honest.
Nah, man, but like I think Damon does the stuff well, the same as Billy Q, aside that Billy Q might have a little bit better striking, but they're both pressure fighters. They both like to go at her. If the under should be fucking live as hell, I think. I know you like the over, but I think Billy Q gets finished here. Finished. Damon Jackson finishes him.
All right, I like that. Moving on, we got Jeremiah Wells versus Carlston Harris. This is another fight that's kind of tricky to predict. Neither are amazing on the feet. Like they both are hittable. I think Wells is gonna win probably just by being a little bit more explosive and stronger and being the one on top, I think. But honestly, like Harris has sneaky little submissions. Give me Wells probably by decision or something. Like I said, by being stronger, maybe ground and pound. But I don't like Jeremiah Wells. I don't think he's great. What do you think?
I think he's a great wrestler, and he showed that against Semmelsberger after getting knocked down twice and then still winning a fight, right? So that's big time. I like that grit and resilience. Now Carlson Harris, that's my boy. He's from Guyana. That's where our parents are from, man. So we don't get many fighters out in the UFC. So big up to Carlson Harris for making it here. Problem is his striking is sloppy. Jeremiah's got bigger power. His striking is a lot better than Carlson. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's better than Carlson because he's throwing punches with like his wrists and shit. It's the ground game. It is very sneaky. He has good head and arm chokes. He has good front chokes, stuff like that. So if Wells just minds his head, puts it to the right side when he goes for these takedowns, because he will, because Carlson Harris is very takedownable. I made that word up too, but he really is. But yeah, so that's the thing. He just minds his P's and Q's, keeps his head to the right side. He probably finishes this fight on the ground more than likely. He gets reversed, he gets turned over, he gives his head up, then you have some trouble. That's where he's going to lose this fight. He can essentially stand, I think. If he wants to keep this thing standing, he should win as well. So, at least in my opinion.
All right, moving on. We got Raoni Barcelos versus Kyler Phillips. This should be a fun fight. Barcelos, obviously, he's coming off that knockout loss to Umar Nurmagomedov, and Phillips feels like he hasn't fought in forever. And I could be wrong. I feel like did he piss hot and get suspended or something?
I think
I
he
could be wrong.
I think he did.
I think he did too. It's Phillips. When I said beat Song Yadong, it's Kyler Phillips who beat Song Yadong. Phillips is a great striker, crazy pace, super exciting. He does gas a little bit sometimes, but I think Phillips will be the better striker here. I think he should be okay, but I mean, Barcelos is good. So this fight is a little bit tricky, especially when you got Phillips who hasn't fought in forever and Barcelos coming off the knockout loss. So things get a little bit tricky here, but I think if Kyler is at his best, I think he can win this fight by outstriking him. So give me Kyler Phillips. Don't know if he'll starch him. If he does, it'll be early. Otherwise, he's going to gas out and go to decision. What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to take place on the feet. I tell you that much. 93% takedown defense there for Barcelos. So don't think he's going to get taken down. Kyler does average maybe a few takedowns in most of his wins, 2 or 3 at least. You know, he's able to get the other guy down. So I don't know how he's going to act if he can't get the other guy down. What I do know is he does have some good striking, but so does Barcelos. Barcelos just, I feel like he's low volume. He doesn't throw enough on the feet, right? I remember that in particular, it was that fight against Timur Valiev, where he should have won that fight, and he just didn't throw enough volume. And he got out-volumed by Timur Valiev, who, quite frankly, doesn't out-volume a lot of people. So, like, that was the fight that really, stuck out in my mind. Now, Kyler Phillips coming off the 1 year and a little bit half year. It looks like about a year and a half layoff. February 12th, 2022 was his last fight. Mind you, he won. And mind you, it was like really good competition. Who was it again? Shit. Marcelo Rojo. So I guess it wasn't that good. he did fight Pava and Yadong before that. And I feel like the Pava fight was a robbery. So he essentially should be undefeated in the UFC at this point. So, but the problem is it's the year and a half. Rowney did not suck. Rowney does not suck. And but where's the chin at? The age of Rowney, the low volume of Rowney. He might lose the first round, but I think he might come back strong. I mean, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if he paces himself a little bit, because like balls to the wall wasn't really working for him, because those third rounds he was making them, he makes your balls sweat. If you have him on a ticket, because he's always minus 200. Well, minus 200 is probably the lowest he's been in years. Minus 300, 400, 500, 600, he was coming in, right? So, I don't know. I'm going to go Kyler Phillips, but it's really low down on my ladder of things this weekend.
All right, moving on. We're getting into the main card. If you haven't already, please please subscribe. We appreciate it. First fight of the main card, we have Ignacio Bahamondes versus Ludovic Klein. This should mostly play out on the feet, I believe, and I believe I like the younger, lankier Bahamondes to get this done. I think it'll probably probably be drawn out, probably go to decision. He'll probably win 2-1, maybe 3-0. But I don't see like a big moment or a big knockout coming. I think Bahamondes just outpoints him. I feel pretty decent about it too. What do you think?
Yeah, he's bigger, he's lankier. I wouldn't say he's more technical. I mean, Ludovic Klein's always got that head kick. Aside from head kick to the face, is the only way this fight finishes pretty much. This is gonna like just look like that Ludovic Klein versus who's the Jai Herbert,
Jai
basically. But
Herbert.
yeah, it's gonna be like that. Just I feel like Bahamondes is better than Jai Herbert, to be honest with you. So yeah, I mean, he's more he's I wouldn't say he's more technical. I'd say he throws more volume. He controls the distance better. He's younger. He looks better. Ludovic Klein has been quite a disappointment in the UFC so far. You know what I mean? Like losing to Mike Trizano, drawing with fucking Jai Herbert. These aren't good looks. And he's not throwing any volume. And he was a head kick specialist before he came in here, anyways. So I feel like that once you go against that one trick pony style of what he has, you got him. He can be taken down in this spot too, because Bahamondes is not a bad ground fighter as well. So he's more well-rounded. So I don't really need to say too much about this. I feel like the measurables are also in Bahamondes' favor. So Bahamondes for me, and I feel at minus 210, it is maybe a tinsy bit wide, but you know, Ludovic Klein is deserving of these wide odds for the way he's fought in his past few fights.
Moving on, we got Tanner Boser versus Alexa Camur in the light heavyweight division. As you're probably all aware, Tanner Boser dropped the weight. He's moved down a division. Didn't look good doing it. He got finished very fast by Jan Cutelaba. And then as far as Alexa goes, 6-2, 5 knockouts. Obviously, he must hit pretty hard, but he's not really fighting anybody, and he has some pretty bad losses too. There's no confidence in this fight. To me, there's not even really any interest in this fight, really. I'm not a big Tanner Boser fan. I don't know why he has so many fans, to be honest. He's fairly boring. I think if he wins, he's probably winning by decision. And if he loses, he's probably getting knocked out. So you know what? I almost hope he gets knocked out, to be honest. But the fight's a pass, and not confident, not really interested. What do you think?
I like the overs if you do get a good number on it. Like, I can't see now. There's nothing posted, but like if you're getting like minus 150 over 2.5, I don't see these guys throwing enough volume to knock each other out. I see neither of them have enough power to knock each other out. I know Camur has some knockout power, I guess, from his past fights, but showing me absolutely nothing in the last 2 fights. William Knight, at least Nikolai Negumereanu is not a bad fighter, but William Knight, how do you lose a fight to William Knight? It's befalling, man. Even what's his name beat him, leg kicking him to death. What's his name? Yeah,
Marcin Prachnio.
Yeah, he leg kicked him to death. You're telling me Alex Camur couldn't kick him to death? Could kick him to death. All you have to do is kick him 20 times. You probably win because that's more than he threw anyway. But point being is just like these guys are so low volume. The only good read I can get on this fight is that no one's gonna one punch nobody, and because there's no power and there's no volume. And the only thing I like in this fight is the over 2.5 if it's a good number. But I won't lay too much juice on these two fools either. This fight, for the purpose of this podcast, I am going to pick Alexa Camur.
Yeah, it's a low level fight, like you just said. It's like I don't know. I don't know how anyone can be confident in this fight.
I tried to say it with a straight face, but that's what I'm picking because 4 out of 5. I don't understand how the hell Tanner Boser is still a fucking favorite in the UFC at all.
People love him. They think he's like fucking Mr. Roy Nelson or something. Except he doesn't have power, so I don't understand. He's boring. Like I almost hope he gets knocked out.
Listen, man, that guy cost me something a long time ago, and it was so bad. That was the worst cap I've ever made in my life. And yeah, I will probably never pick him again, and I'm probably not playing this fight too much, aside from the over. Like I said, that's the only thing I like.
All right, moving on. I think this fight's actually going to be a fun one. We got Gavin Tucker versus Diego Lopes. I think Tucker's coming off that first round knockout to Ige, but that was a while ago. But before that, he was looking really good. He has some good wins. He's a good fighter. And then you got Diego Lopes, who almost pulled off the craziest upset ever, beating Mavsar Evleev. Obviously, he ended up losing by split decision, but it was super close. He showed a hell of a chin. He showed he can grapple with the best of them. And then when you look at this fight, Gavin Tucker's most of his wins are by submission. So like I don't think he's gonna submit Diego Lopes. I don't think that's gonna happen. Like Lopes is a hell of a grappler. I think Lopes is hittable, but man, I think this is gonna be a very, very fun fight. I'm rooting for Lopes. Lopes was so exciting last fight that I'm rooting for him, and Tucker just hasn't been active, so it's hard to know what you're getting. I'm gonna lean Lopes, but what do you think?
So 2021, sometime in 2021 was the last time he fought, and it was a one-punch knockout from Dan Ige. I remember 50K. That's when Gavin Tucker. I fell for the hype train. I fell for the hype train again. That's when Gavin Tucker was on his big winning streak, and I was like, yeah, he's gonna beat 50K because like Ige is so boring. He'll get taken down. Blah 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 blah. Boom, one punch. I was like, fuck me. Right. So that was the last thing I said. And I don't know what happened. So before when we bring up best bets, I'm gonna do a little bit of digging. I need to know why he was off for 2 years, because it actually matters why he was off for 2 years. Sometimes like this guy, is he coming back mentally ready? Was there like some traumatic experience in his life? Did he hurt himself? Who knows? I don't know. I didn't look into it too much. These why he was off. But I do think the 2 years is going to cost him that first round at least. And that depends on how he gets back into it. You know what I mean? Now, Lopes, whatever you want to call him, can be taken down, right? So Gavin Tucker is a good wrestler. I don't think he'll submit him, but this might end up in a lot of scrambles. But on the feet, Lopes looked pretty good against Evleev. I think he might actually have won that fight, to be honest with you. It was damn close. But the problem is sometimes is that first fight, you can't just make that judgment on that first fight, right? So, I mean, Gavin Tucker's overall the better fighter here. He's got the more UFC experience. I think he may lose the second round, but I also think Lopes can be taken down. For now, I'm going to take Gavin Tucker on a dogger pass, unless I find something about this history that was alarming, because I think his skills kind of match what Evloev did, except for the striking, right? So, and I think he is serviceable on the feet. So he has a close line, and I could flip, but for now, I'm going to take Gavin Tucker.
Okay, moving on. We got Dustin Jacoby versus Kennedy Nzechukwu, or Nzechukwu, whatever the heck. You know who he is. We all know who he is.
Nzechukwu, I think it is.
Okay,
I don't know.
I can't fucking pronounce that. But Dustin, we all know, very, very good technical kickboxer. The problem with him is he's too much of a point fighter, and he makes his fights way too close, and judges don't like him. And then you have Kennedy, who might not be as technical on the feet, and he doesn't have a lot of volume either, which I hate. I wish he threw more, but he hits hard. When he hits you, he does hurt you. He's got good chokes. I think he's the more well-rounded fighter here. I think he's the more dangerous fighter here. I need him to throw, because if he doesn't throw, he might get outpointed here. But like I said, even the judges don't really like Dustin. So, I mean, I think Kennedy's up on the up. I mean, he's been winning fights, and Dustin's kind of on the down. Give me Kennedy, and give me an over, because I think Dustin's tough. So I don't think he's going to knock Dustin out. If there's a finish, it's probably a choke. Otherwise, we're probably looking at a late striking match. But give me Kennedy to get it done. What do you think?
Yeah, Kennedy's been looking pretty good lately, and he has these measurables that are pretty like crazy. He's like what, 6'7", 6'5", 83-inch reach, southpaw. Pretty good, man. I mean, he just killed Devin Clark in his last fight, murdered Kudalaba in the fight before, or Roberson he was supposed to lose to. I mean, sorry, he's supposed to win against. My bad. Lost the fight against Nikolai Negamariano, where he won because he outstruck him 95-64. So he does have, if he's not finishing guys, he does have volume, right? He's the same guy that came back from a 2-round beating to Carlos Ulberg. This aged so well, this fight. he took a two round drubbing to Carlos Alberg and then came back and beat him in the third round. So he's already shown resiliency. So, you know, those are good things. So everyone's always, it's those two fights that he had in the between there to Dawoon Jung and to Nikolai Negumereanu, where he lost. Everyone was losing. Oh, Kennedy's not that good. Kennedy's not that good. No, he's just coming into his own, right? Jacoby's lost his last two. The last one against Mirzakhanov was damn close. Could have gone either way. He lost against Khalil Roundtree, which I call that a win, to be honest with you. And then he point fighted everybody else. So I don't know. His style isn't working in the way the judges are going these days. And that's the problem here. Kennedy's going to throw with more power. Kennedy's going to throw with more, like, it's going to do more damage. It's just going to look better. And I feel like if there is a ground game, it would be Kennedy who's on the ground because he's subbed a couple of the guys, or at least one of them. I think he guillotined, was it Devin Clark or Iron Kudalaba? One of the two. I think it was Kudalaba, right? So yeah, I mean, like a guillotine. I mean, at least he knows the IQ is there too, right? So, like I said, that the win from Alberg aged really well, and I feel like he's the little bit better fighter at this point in their career. Unfortunately for Jacoby, if he had a little bit more power, I'd be a little bit more on him in some spots because, like, he does throw the volume, but sometimes volume is not winning out these days, right? And even in the Negumereanu versus Kennedy fight, he out 95-64. So he outvolumed him, but Negumereanu won. That could very well happen here. So I'm going to go with the fighter that's fighting better. I'm going to go with the fighter that's fighting well. And I'm going to go with the way the judges are scoring nowadays. I'm going to go with Kennedy.
All right, moving on. We got the co-main event. We got fan favorite Jessica Andrade versus Tatiana Suarez. Suarez 9-0. She finally came back after like that 3-year layoff from her injury. But she came back. She looked pretty good. She didn't look amazing, but she got the win, what she needed to do against another decent grappler and a big girl. Now she's moving back down to her original weight, so she's going back down to fight a much smaller Jessica Andrade. And personally, Tatiana's taken down bigger, better wrestlers, so she should have no problem taking down Jessica and finishing her on the ground with a choke. So I think she chokes out Jess. Obviously, Jess has big power, but Suarez has never been knocked out. So I'm not going to believe she's going to get knocked out here. Give me Tatiana on the ground by a choke, still undefeated. That's how I see it. What do you think?
Minus 400 is a gift. That's how I see it. Minus 400 is a gift. I mean, everything Tatiana does well is what Andrade loses to. She would lose on a similar ground fighting game plan against Shevchenko in the title fight, I believe. Got taken down and mauled. So what's stopping Tatiana Suarez from taking her down at will? I guess she has a puncher's chance and a puncher's chance only. Tatiana, I would be stupid to stand with her because her wrestling is levels better. And I think the jiu-jitsu is levels better. To be honest with you, I see a second round choke. First round, she tires out Jessica. You know how Jessica's just a quitter, and then go boom. That's it. Second round, rear naked choke, Tatiana Suarez. I don't really need to break this down. Like it's like high level wrestler versus Jessica Andrade, and that's her kryptonite. Over the years, that's been what it is.
No, I agree 100%. And
or knock her out like what's her name? Zhao Zhaonan or whatever her name was. Yeah. Just smash her like that. I guess that works too, but that girl has some that girl from China has some power.
I'll 100% be playing Suarez.
Oh yeah, me too.
And I'll also be playing her inside the distance as well. I'll be playing her both ways, to be honest.
I wonder what you're gonna get. What do you think? Like minus 200, minus 100. Oh, if it's in the minus 100, that's another gift, I think.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's why we do the betting episode Thursday. When the props are out, we'll see what the numbers are, and we'll go from there. But I like her by choke.
Me too.
Moving on, we got the main event. It should be a fun one. We got Corey Sandhagen versus Rob Font. This is a striker versus a striker, so this is going to be a great match. Rob Font, I shouldn't say let me down because he did amazing for himself last fight, but I love Adrian Yanez. He knocked out Yanez in the first round. I did not see that coming. But that being said, Corey Sandhagen isn't going to stand there and get hit with those same shots. He's Sandhagen's in and out, uses his length, uses his range, uses his kicks. He's more diverse, harder to hit, and he's the better fighter. Like I said, I love Giannis, so that obviously that kind of hurt me that night. But I feel like I really like Sandhagen here. I know Rob Font's tough, but I think Corey Sandhagen's gonna win every round. Maybe get a late finish just by busting him up. Like I don't think Rob Font's a quitter. I don't think Rob Font's gonna get knocked out cold. But I think like an accumulation of damage. I could see like his eye always swells up. His face is always busted up. I think it's not out of the question that there's a doctor stoppage or a referee stoppage. But I just like Sandhagen. Period. I think he's the more diverse striker who's not going to get knocked out. That's what I think. What do you think?
I think it's close. I think it goes to decision. I think that they're going to throw an abundance of significant strikes. So Bet365 now is significant strikes. So I think it's over 100 significant strikes on either side because I think it goes late. But I also think minus 334 is large between these two.
It's minus 334?
Yeah, I feel like that's huge, buddy. That's like a big, like this fight isn't that this fight's closer than minus 334. That's for sure. So the way that line's built and baked in, like it says Corey Sandhagen is going to dominate this fight 75 to 80, almost 90% of the time. I don't think that's true. But I also think now let me ask you this. Do you think lately, the last couple of fights, you've seen Corey use the ground game? Do you think he pulls it off a little ground game here? Because this is not looking at the stats. This is looking in his last couple of fights. So he took down Marlon Vera. He took down at least tried to take down TJ, all those guys. So he's trying to incorporate a wrestling game. You think he'll incorporate it here against Rob?
Maybe.
Right. I guess it'd be smart thing to do, right? So he's a completely different fighter than he was. But like minus 334 is like way double what he was against Marlon, right? So you put Rob Font like that far away from Marlon Vera. I think Rob might be actually a little bit more well-rounded than Marlon in the fact that he doesn't sit around for a round before he starts throwing punches. That's the one thing. I don't know. This is a tough fight. I need to see some I'm leaning Corey, but the odds are scaring me a little bit. I want to see what the props are because the last time when Corey fought TJ, the decision prop was plus 500 on both sides because they thought the fight was going to finish. If they somehow think this fight's going to finish, I don't think this fight finishes. I just don't. Just by the way Corey fights, just how defensively sound Rob is, right? So wasn't Rob the one that got beat up badly by Jose Aldo where his face was like
Marlon Vera beat
it was Marlon Vera. It was Marlon, my bad. It was Marlon Vera beat the shit out of him. But he was still there. And to be honest, he landed more significant strikes against Vera than Vera landed on him. But there's that power versus volume argument again. It can happen everywhere. So I don't know. It's a tough fight to call. But I feel the odds are wide. That's all.
Well, they're definitely wide. It's just, for me, how the fuck do you get outstruck by Marlon Vera? Or like, I don't know, Corey Sandhagen fucking smoked Marlon Vera.
Yeah, but he didn't get
I know that doesn't work. I know styles make fights. I get all of that.
I swear he didn't get outstruck, man. Like, he didn't get outstruck.
Dude, his face was mangled.
It was mangled. No, I get it. Like, he got hit. So he was very hittable that night. Let's go with that. But I don't think he got outstruck. Now that you got this, I need to see it. Oh, he did lose to Jose Aldo too, Rob Font. And he outstruck. Check this out. So Rob Font's 2 losses. One was to Jose Aldo by unanimous decision. He outstruck Jose Aldo 149 to 86, but he did get knocked down twice. Right? Those are the keys. Right? And then against Marlon Vera, Rob Font outstruck Marlon Vera 271 to 159. But he got knocked down 3 times. So the key here is Corey Sandhagen knocking him down. Does Corey Sandhagen knock anyone down? I don't know. Break it down a little bit. Peter Yan had a knockdown against Corey. Corey knocked down Frankie Edgar, not a big deal. Knocked down more and more ice, not a big deal. And Mario Batista back in the day. So this is the thing, man. Yo, if you don't knock down Rob, he can outstrike you. So that was the dynamic in those two fights, was that he was getting knocked down. I have a hard time thinking that Corey's gonna knock him down. And it's making me think. I'm going with Sandhagen now, but I can honestly flip. I might not have Sandhagen in any parlays. I might have him in parlays and just hedge with Rob. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but those are some telling stats. And yeah, man, Rob throws the volume, buddy. Rob throws the volume. So I don't know.
I mean, he's always had good hands. He has a sneaky long jab. His arms are really, really long, but I don't know, man. I have a really hard time seeing him.
Fuck, man, but 271 versus 159, that's ridiculous. And that's off fight metric. Just the three knockdowns. It must have happened in obviously happened in 3 separate rounds, right near the end of the round, and Marlon won those rounds, right?
And even that fight with Yanez, I think the fight was only like a minute or two, and his face was still busted up though. Like he does not like take a punch well. I shouldn't say he doesn't take it well because he's not getting knocked out, but like he shows that he cuts easy, he bruises easy, he swells easy. Like,
no, I get it. I understand. You can go back and forth about on this fight all day long, right?
Okay,
it's
guys.
A tough fight.
Props aren't out yet. They'll be out Wednesday or Thursday. If you're new to this channel, every Thursday we drop another episode with all our bets, all the props that we like. We give you a bet for every single fight. So make sure you come back Thursday for our final picks. Like and subscribe as always, and we'll see you Thursday.